put together in this indictment, the most historic indictment in the history of this republic. The facts to, send the president of the United States, the former president of the United States, to prison for life.
MAGA and Trump guys are always going to cry. They cry by nature. If you say hi to them, like, you didn't say Merry Christmas. Right? So just ignore them. Just do your goddamn job. And the reason why, overall, again, I'm happy that it went to this guy, is because this guy's a super serious prosecutor. He seems like a very serious prosecutor. And so a neutral, impartial, everybody attests to it for whatever it's worth. The documents case is the easiest case in the whole wide world. If Jack Smith can't get that done, that means that's it. There's no prosecutor in America that has any kind of testicular fortitude. None, zero.
I'm sorry, where are we going?
John, I'll jump in here. We've got some breaking news out of DC. David Spunt reporting right now. Special counsel Jack Smith is seeking to dismiss the Trump election interference case in Washington, D.C. We should note that this was expected. We've been reporting for a few weeks now that this would happen since the DOJ cannot prosecute a sitting president. Today, this news brings us one step closer to this case formally being dropped. The judge is going to need approval for this before anything is officially dismissed, as David's reporting, and that could come as soon as today. I believe David Spunt is up now. He's got this news for us. David.
Well, hey, Sandra, after almost 2 years of this Jack Smith saga, things seem to be ending for him. We just need the judge to sign off on it. After thousands of pages and hundreds of hours of interviews, it comes down to just 6 pages. Jack Smith, the special counsel, asking Judge Tanya Chutkan to dismiss this superseding indictment. This is the election interference case in Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump was charged with trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Ultimately, Smith says that DOJ does not prosecute sitting presidents. This never went to trial. It was supposed to go to trial earlier this year. That never happened. So he's asking to dismiss this case.
Oh, man. Sweet victory. Smells good, don't it? You know, they've been trying to get this man for a very, very long time. In 2017, I'm going to get Trump. We're going to get him. Comey. 2018, we got him cornered, don't we? We got him. 2019, we're going to get Trump. 2020, okay, Letitia James thought she was going to get Trump. 2021, Garland thought he was going to get Trump. 2022, 2023, and 2024. They've been going after this man forever, okay? And they have failed miserably. And it's so good to see. But also, you know, it's so good to see people like, I believe Trump called them pencil neck, Adam Schiff, lose their mind. So I'm going to play a couple of clips. Adam Schiff and Dan Goldman absolutely losing their minds over them not being able to get Trump, because of course that's all that they want. That's all that they wanted. They just wanted to throw this man in jail by any means necessary, and they realized that they failed.
The status quo now is no charges against the president. You would have to upset that status quo to later bring charges again, as opposed to merely postponing the proceedings, in which case the presumption is they continue when he leaves office. Now, Jack Smith relied on the opinion of lawyers within the department who said that they thought it was required by the Constitution to dismiss the case, but it isn't required by the Constitution. There's nothing that would interfere with his performance of the office, whether the case is dismissed without prejudice or merely postponed. So I think this is a serious mistake by the department. It compounds the mistake that you alluded to, which is they waited a year before they even brought this case forward or began the investigation. And then you have the Supreme Court with its immunity decision, and now you have a potential nominee in Pam Bondi who is saying she's going to prosecute the prosecutors. All of that goes against what Jack Smith said in his brief motion, which is that no one's above the law. So we're hearing that phrase a lot, but we're not giving validity to it. by these actions.
Okay, Adam Schiff. All right. Remember that. No one's above the law, Adam Schiff. You know, I have a sneaky suspicion that once Trump takes office, those words won't be uttered out of these people's mouths. Nobody's above the law. I think their tone will shift completely. I'm just saying.
Your reaction to Jack Smith announcing that he will file to dismiss the charges in the election subversion case against former President Trump?
Well, look, I certainly understand why he did it, given the Department of Justice policy that you cannot prosecute a sitting president. I think it is a shame for justice in this country. It establishes that Donald Trump is above the law. The Supreme Court put him above the law in that opinion that Paula just mentioned. But now he appears to escape full accountability for what were crimes charged by a grand jury. And I would just add one other thing that we ought to pay close attention to. We cannot normalize the fact that Donald Trump, as the president-elect, should not be held accountable for crimes that he committed before. If he were to have fired the special counsel, that would be a gross abdication of the independence of the Department of Justice. And if the shoe were on the other foot, for example, and Joe Biden were to have fired David Weiss, who clearly had a politicized investigation because the House Republicans effectively scuttled a plea agreement, everyone would be up in arms. So let's make sure that we don't normalize Donald Trump's political partisan behavior that has no place under our rule of law.
Congressman, you know that the American people were well aware of the charges that Donald Trump was facing in this case and several others. What do you make of the argument that they essentially served as a jury, and by re-electing him and now making him president-elect, they have weighed in on these matters?
I don't give any credence to that argument. I think what was very clear is that people voted for Donald Trump because they thought that he was going to improve the lives of the middle class, and perhaps in addition that he would secure the border. They did not vote for him to dismantle our democracy, to attack the Constitution, to...
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. We don't live in a democracy, once again. We live in a constitutional republic. But, of course, they always want to repeat it so that it sticks in our minds and it becomes like this thing where a republic isn't what we actually live in. But those are the mind games that they play. Something that I realized along this journey. Now, I do want to play this clip from Eli Honig because in terms of the state cases, what is happening with those is, with Letitia James and the Alvin Bragg case, what they want to do is pause them for these 4 years and possibly have the opportunity to bring them back after Trump leaves office. But there's a major problem with that, and I'll let Eli Honig go in on that. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But of course, they're going to try anything and everything to get Donald Trump. They're going to try everything possible to throw this man in prison, including pausing a case for 4 years. Pausing, like, what have you ever heard of anything like that? Pausing a case for 4 years and then trying to throw him in prison. Like, no.
The district attorney, Eli Honig, is with us, I should point out. We got the letter from the DA here. No surprise that they're not eager to let this go. And they point out in their letter that there's no law that currently establishes that a president's immunity comes that it requires the dismissal of a post-trial criminal proceeding. In other words, there's nothing in the Supreme Court's ruling that gives a president immunity for being found guilty of something before he was president, let alone for acts that may not be deemed official. Suffice to say, this is complicated.
Yeah, Boris, this is brand new territory. This is the crazy law school hypothetical come to life. We've never had a situation anything like this. But to your question, I see two major takeaways from this filing we just got from the DA. First of all, the DA is okay with adjourning this sentencing indefinitely, which means it will not happen before he takes office if the judge agrees. Kara makes a very important point. This is just the DA's position. Ultimately, it's up to the judge. But the second thing that really jumps out at me is the DA in this letter says what you just said, Boris, about immunity, that it doesn't necessarily cover post-trial proceedings. And so the DA floats the possibility in their letter. They say we want to look into various options, including possibly having his sentencing happen in 2029 when he's done his second term as president. To me, that is a preposterous suggestion, just as a practical matter. You can't put off sentence 4+ years. I think Donald Trump would have a very strong argument when this day comes, when he's 82 years old and finishing up his second term, that's just too long to wait. But again, this is all unknown. This is all brand new. But I found that really interesting to see that the DA is actually floating the possibility of pushing sentencing till January 21st, I guess, of 2029.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the practical effect was of pushing something 4 years to when someone's an octogenarian, but it's like you're psychic, Ellie. Kristen Holmes, I want to bring you.
Yeah, so you heard Eli Honig explain it there. That's not going to work. And honestly, if I'm Trump at this point, because I know they're going to try to throw anything and everything at me, I may just preemptively pardon myself, right? I don't think Trump's guilty of anything, but we have seen that they are going to try to throw anything and everything at this man. So just get it out of the way, pardon yourself, and, get it done. It's also really crazy to think that if Trump didn't win, they would have thrown this man underneath the prison. Didn't matter, all of the BS that they put this man through. Didn't matter that he almost lost his life, not once, but twice. They were going to throw this man under the jail, under it, if he had lost. But because he won, now all of a sudden they're just dropping, which to me, like that just screams they knew this was political. Because if you truly had a case, if you truly felt like this man broke the law, or if you truly knew he broke the law, not felt like it, then why not just continue? You've already got the cases going. Finish them. Finish it. Don't try to come out here and say, well, it's part of our policy to not go after sitting presidents. That's not a law. That's policy. And since when have you guys ever stopped, allowed something to stop you from going after Trump? I mean, they literally got rid of the statute of limitations so that he could be sued. What? In what world does that happen? When have you ever heard of that happening? Oh yeah, we're going to get rid of the statute of limitations for just 1 year, and then we're going to bring it back. Just randomly. It has nothing to do with Donald Trump. We're just doing it now, just cause. Since when is policy or even law stopped you from being completely biased and going after this man? So don't tell me, oh, it's policy now. No, you know it's political. And oh, he's about to walk back into office. And he's about to have a whole lot of power. And we know we kind of did some things pretty terribly here. So, please, just leave us alone. Just leave us alone. We'll stop messing with you. Nah, bro. I hope Pam Bondi give these folks everything that they've been giving to Trump. Plus some. Give them hell, Pam Bondi. Give them hell. That's what I say. But do y'all agree? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, peace and love. I'm out.